everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am so unbelievably excited for this reading vlog and I have 4 reasons why, and those 4 reasons are 4 new releases, basically my most anticipated releases for the rest of 2023, or I guess like the second half of 2023. My original, I think, anticipated read was Kingdom of the Feared, but if you go back and watch my vlog, you know how I feel about that book. And so we have 4 other books that I have been so excited about, 3 of which came out all on the same day. So we're gonna talk TBR, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more, and then we're gonna get to reading because I am so impatient and I have waited long enough. First, we have A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. Now, this is the 3rd and final book in the Ballad of Never After series. And the 2nd book I know left off on quite a big cliffhanger with what kind of went down with everybody, and I've heard good things, yet bad things about this book. Good things in the fact that they enjoyed it, bad things because Stephanie Garber is out to hurt us, apparently. I'm super eager to pick this up. I wasn't that excited until I watched Carrie Can Read's video where she kind of recapped her rereading the first 2 books, which actually was very helpful to like refresh my memory on what goes down in the first 2 because I didn't love this series enough to elicit rereading the first couple, so I'm just diving into the 3rd book, but now I remember all the events that happened and the shit show that I'm going to enter. Then we have, in this little bag here, any guesses? Any guesses, anyone? So exciting. We have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the Barnes & Noble edition. It's got the sprayed edges. It's quite a bit thicker than Fourth Wing, and the map still looks gorgeous. Oh my god. Okay, they have different dragons. Oh my gosh. Y'all know that I do cartography and this map is stunning. Oh my goodness. I am so very excited to pick this up. This is actually the book I will be starting with. And I actually went to a Barnes & Noble midnight release party to pick this up. There was some fun little activities that we did, and I'll actually cut to clips of that after I finish my intro, as well as the trip to California I took, but more on that later. Also, with the Barnes & Noble, it looks like they gave me a little sticker that says Dragon Rider, and then a little bookmark. And this is so funny, it says a fantasy like you've never read before, even though, from what I've heard, this book basically rips off Game of Thrones, so bold statement. Also, these 2 girls in line gave me this bookmark, and I'm so excited and I'm absolutely going to be using this while I read Iron Flame. Now we have a bit of unboxing, bit of a treat for myself, because today also, side tangent, we're celebrating. Because if you've been following my channel for a little bit, you know that I got a job as a flight attendant, and basically I have just been waiting for my call for training. And I was supposed to already be done training in like August, September, but obviously it is November, so it has taken a while, but they finally called me today and my training officially starts in January. And so many happy vibes today. I have my packages come in, I get to start Iron Flame, I get to go to my favorite coffee shop. Today is such a good day. Oh my goodness. We're gonna open this first one here. Okay. Okay, this is so exciting. So first we have the holiday exclusive edition of Fourth Wing. I'm obsessed. It's so pretty. The sprayed edges, the beautiful color, nice dark and red, and also it matches. Oh my gosh, when I get my bookshelf set up, probably in like March, my Fourth Wing shelf is gonna absolutely pop off. I'm so excited. And then I'm so excited for this one as well. I've talked about this so much, but we have Check and Mate by Ellie Hazelwood, which it's got a purple spine and a pink cover, and the colors are so pretty. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but this is giving Taylor Swift vibes, is it not? Let me know, Swifties, because I don't. Anyways, Rivals to Lovers romance. I'm so excited to be picking this up. I have accepted that I am in fact an Ellie Hazelwood girly. This does seem like a little short. No, it's like 350. It just seems really like skinny. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe the pages are like really thin. That's interesting. So excited. Anyways, then we have the last package, which of course contains more books because I can't be stopped. We have Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. I absolutely loved Legends and Lattes when I read it. Love a good cozy fantasy. And to read a cozy fantasy in my favorite season in fall, oh my gosh, I'm so bloody excited about this one. The cover is phenomenal, of course. That's kind of my TBR other than like Fourth Wing. I already reread that, but I also treated myself because I wanted to pick up another Rebecca Ross book. And so I bought Divine Rivals. I'm going to be picking this up sometime in December because I want to read the second book when it comes out, but this is a lot skinnier than I was expecting. Interesting. Also around 350 pages. Very interesting. I can't remember exactly what this book is about, but I'm pretty sure it's about rivals who turn into lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes. So here is a look at my TBR for this video. It is absolutely jam-packed with hit after hit. Are you kidding me? I am so excited to be picking all of these up. I just know I'm gonna enjoy all of them. Well, I hope that I enjoy all of them because what a lineup. I think this is probably the best lineup that I've had for a vlog in a very long time. But I do have some other updates that I kind of want to talk about. First being, like I had mentioned earlier when I was like ogling over the Fourth Wing map, I am a cartographer and I recently finished my own version of the Poppy War map. I'm absolutely obsessed with how it turned out. I do have a typo on this one, so don't mind that. I already did fix it. And I will have prints available at the end of November. I ordered 11x14s as well as 5x7s. I wasn't going to originally order the big prints, but I was like, might as well. Hopefully some of y'all will appreciate that. My shop is always linked down below. And then the other thing that I briefly mentioned as well was my California trip. I took a trip to California, visited a bunch of people that either I hadn't met before or hadn't really got to chat with. I got to reunite with some of the people that I met in Japan, which was so lovely. And I went to the beach in the bookstore, and that's the main core of what I vlogged, so that's really all I'm gonna show is the beach in the bookstore. And then I will show off the midnight release party for Iron Flame, and then we'll snap back into present day, and I'll give you some updates about what I start reading. So let's go back to California, shall we?
Hi guys, I'm Cass.
Hi,
Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Welcome! We're reminiscing. I am. Are you counting? Down like the ugliest side street.
Hurry up! Car coming! Axolotl!
Have you ever seen The Croods? Sandra Bullock has hooves.
She'd be good to hold hands with.
hair gets like sucked into the fan.
The autobiography of someone not named Anna.
I have a bit of a reading update. It is in fact the next day. I ended up having to do a lot more art than I had initially planned on. 'Tis the life of someone who has many commissions they need to be working on. But I did start Iron Flame. I dedicated some time yesterday to sit down and start this book. And I am trying not to just binge read this all in one day because I truly just want to enjoy my time slowly absorbing this book and enjoying it and not just like flying through it like I did with Fourth Wing, because then once I read everything, like it's happened. I've read it, you know, I can't experience it for the first time ever again. I am on page 148, the start of chapter 16. I will say I'm really enjoying that they're at the academy still, because other books where it's set place at an academy and there's like war going on, for example, the Poppy War, they only stay at the academy for a short period of time before they're kind of thrown into the war. And I really thought that would happen. But no, we get to see Violet actually go to her classes as a second year and experiencing the first year initiation from the other side. And also, Rebecca Yarros keeps ruthlessly killing people. I had to reread one paragraph because I'm like, that's how they die. That just boom. They're what? What? We're doing that? So she truly has no soul. It feels like no care for our souls. She's out to break us. And I love it. I'm trying to get attached to no character. However, we have been introduced to Liam's little sister Sloane, and low-key love her even though I haven't really got to see much of her. I'm already kind of obsessed with her character and the way it kind of mirrors Violet's almost, although she's not the biggest fan of Violet. And I'm really interested to see how that relationship sort of grows. We have a new commander. I can't remember exactly which rank he replaced, but Varish could go do us all a favor and go vanish because I hate him more than Dane. And speaking of Dane, he now replaced Xaden since Xaden was a third year and has graduated and he's gone. Violet is standing up so well to Dane, and I just love the Dane hate train, quite frankly, because Dane deserves all the hate and loathing that everyone gives him. Truly the worst character, and when I was rereading Fourth Wing, I hated his character like more and more and more. I just, whew. What a way to write a character, honestly, and I'm glad that Violet kind of realizes the position she's in, stand up to Dane finally, because she definitely wasn't in the first book until probably near the end. We have some tension between Xaden and Violet. There's a bit of lost trust, but you know, the characters, they're still horny, but they're not like communicating. I mean, they are communicating, but Violet's really stubborn, and that is kind of driving me crazy because the reason why she's mad at Xaden, I feel like makes sense. Not even I feel like makes sense. It makes sense from a strategic standpoint, and yet Violet is just being stubborn and not accepting that fact, and it's kind of rude. We've been introduced to some more characters. Like I said, the first years came over. Violet is trying to not learn the names of any of the first years because, you know, they're kind of, as someone said, dragon fodder until the threshing, which is kind of an accurate statement, but even people in Violet's class are getting killed and third years have gotten killed. So honestly, it's a war college and it's definitely living up to that name because people are dying left and right, let me tell you. I am going to dedicate some time to pick this book up and do a little bit more reading in it before I kind of dedicate more time to my art. I never understood when people are like, I'm too busy to read. I'm like, no, you can always carve out time to read. But now I'm like, ooh, I am really busy. So I kind of feel what people are talking about because I just want to fly through this book and take all the time that I need. I will give y'all some reading updates when I have them, but in the meantime, let's go read. Y'all, I truly do not want to move from my bed and stop reading Iron Flame, but I do have to take a break and do some art, which is so unfortunate because all I want to do is continue staying curled up in my bed and read Iron Flame. I have made it to page 257, which is chapter 28, so quite a bit of progress. Read for about an hour and a half-ish. I did get like a little distracted for a little bit there, but that's fine. It also was raining outside and it's overcast and it's just like the perfect vibes for reading. And like I said, I don't want to put this down. I'm a little over a third of the way through the book. I don't want it to end. I know I'm like not even close to finishing it, but I don't want it to end. Things have been a little wild with what they're putting these second years through. There's a lot of tension between Violet and Rhi. It makes me very sad because they are very close friends, but we don't really get to see Rhi that much in these books. Violet has big old secrets from the end of Fourth Wing and she can't really share that with people, and there's not a lot of people that she can for sure trust, so we haven't got to see a lot of Rhi in this book, which is a little unfortunate because even when we do get to see her, it's usually just her being suspicious of Violet and Violet feeling terrible about lying to Rhi. So we have Violet and Xaden still, you know, Xaden obviously is head over heels for Violet, but Violet is denying herself her feelings, which mood, but also get on with it. As for the plot, we have a little situation with Adarna. It's a little bit more than a little situation, and I'm curious to see how things are going to be resolved. We've got a little bit of a temporary solution, but Varish is involved, and we all know how we feel about him. He is a piece of shit. There was a sliver, like the tiniest little sliver of a potential Dane redemption arc, and I am not for it. I am not for it. After book one, Dane deserves no redemption. But Yaros was trying, I feel like. Like maybe not fully because I feel like Dane is written to be hated. Then the shred of apathy we're supposed to feel towards him, I still couldn't justify. I'm enjoying this probably equally to Fourth Wing. I will say there's less action. In terms of like second year challenges that they have to get through, I feel like this has been way more anticlimactic. They're learning like landing strategies basically, but Violet can't even do that because she's so frail and fragile and weak. Then there's like interrogation that's been going on, but it just got resolved really quickly compared to like the Gauntlet in the first year. We got quite a few chapters with them tackling that. We are learning a lot more history. We're in like the history classes and battle briefs where they're updating on everything happening around the land, but I kind of get bored during those parts. I want some more action scenes. It's been a little lacking. I'm hoping in the second half of the book, the plot kind of picks up some more. It is natural that it is going a little slower just to like truly develop the world some more. But the history info dump that we get from classes or Violet talking to people or reading books, it's just a boring way to convey information to the readers. So when you're like reciting phrases and stuff to me, my eyes are glazing over and I stop actually like forming thoughts. But I can't think of another way in which history could be taught to us as a reader. I mean, in the first book we had Violet like spewing off her history facts to like calm herself and calm her nerves, which I thought was kind of funny and also was kind of nice compared to like the history lessons we're sitting through, but you know, potato potato regardless. Still enjoying it, and I'll talk to y'all later. Hello, it is quite a bit later, so if I look a little crusty, I do apologize. I've been working on, I'll pop it up on the screen, this map and these flowers and this border, and my sanity is in question, but it's fine. We're hanging in there. I do have a little bit of an update on Iron Flame, and I think it's gonna be the last update I can give in terms of like not spoiling events that kind of happen. And my only update is the fact that like the middle bit kind of dragged, but it makes sense. They are at a new location trying to blend groups of people, and it's not going well. And I got a little bored during that sort of sequence because it felt sort of repeatish of the first book, but still very different. Just to give you like context of where I'm at, I'm on page 477, which is chapter 50, almost in the book here, literally like a quarter to go. I finally got through that little lull, I would say, and it's just so interesting how the pacing of this book is going, because if I knew it was a trilogy, I feel like things would make sense. I'm like, okay, where they're at, the next book there's war because of how things are leading up, because that's what, you know, they're at a war college. Obviously there's gonna have to be a war in this series, but I don't see what they're gonna do with 5 books unless we go to an entirely like separate part of the continent. I don't know, it doesn't feel very 5-book series-ish, which I think is also why I'm a little bit bored with all the info dumping and plot progression, how it's been paced. It feels very like second book about to lead to a third book versus, well, I mean, obviously that's how books are written. Second books do tend to come before third books. But in terms of like second to third and third being the final book versus 5 books, honestly, having that pre-planned is really bold, unless all the books are written or in a like rough draft state where you know, okay, these events need to transpire and these events need to transpire and then final, which is probably how it works. I have no desire to be an author. I feel like that should be obvious in the way that I speak about books and how I'm like, I'm just there for the vibes, like, and the characters. I have no storytelling abilities of my own. My sister, on the other hand, she is a little author. She has written like 4 or 5 like full-length novels. She's like rewriting and editing like the first 3, I don't know. She has all the writing talent in the family. I have been left to just vibe with the books already written. So to answer that question that I have been asked, no desire to become an author. So I don't know if that's actually how like you plan out books. If you're like, yeah, it's gonna be 5 books and here's how it's gonna be. And I guess since Rebecca Yarros had already had like an established audience, but to write your first fantasy novel and straight up be like, it's gonna be 5 books and it's confirmed that it will be 5 books. I mean, obviously it worked in her favor because Fourth Wing is so immensely popular, and I'm just getting out on a little tangent. So there's my thoughts, I guess. I am gonna go edit a little bit and then read a little bit more. Not of Iron Flame, actually. I'm also in the middle of reading Halt's Peril, which is book 9 of Ranger's Apprentice on my phone. I just try to limit the amount of Ranger's Apprentice that I bring up on the channel, which isn't necessarily something that I thought I would ever say, but I feel like there's not much I can say about Ranger's Apprentice when you're 9 books in, and I've read it like over 10 times. So I'm not really providing value for you, you know? Anyways, that's what I'm probably gonna be picking up. I think I need to like take a break from the map I was working on. People always ask me, and I feel like I'm acting as if like people are asking me questions all the time. They're not, these are just things on my mind. But I tend to get asked how long my maps take to draw, and I don't know how to measure. I could set a timer, but for me it's like, okay, well, I'm like 4 episodes into Heartstopper. I watched like a 2-hour Colin and Samir like interview video, a couple Curtis Connor videos, listened to a few like songs. I don't know, I've sunk like probably like 3 or 4 hours already into this map, and it's just the border, and that doesn't even include like the preliminary sketches that I have to do and then the actual inking, and just like 35 hours probably if I was gonna like lowball, I don't know. No one cares. I'm gonna go and I will probably finish Iron Flame before I give you another update on it. Then I can't wait to choose what I read next because, like I said, I have quite the lineup for this video. It's all very, very exciting. This is probably the longest it's taken me to read a new release that I'm loving and really want to hurry and finish because I just want to get to the ending and know how everything wraps up and avoid spoilers. Typically, I feel like I would sit down and like binge it in a day. This is a 3-day ordeal for me. This is a 3-day ordeal to finish Iron Flame. And I know Katie's getting very impatient to talk to me about it. I was on a call with her earlier and I'm very visceral when I'm reacting. I'm very like out loud talking to myself type of thing, like, oh my gosh, she did not. That dumbass. Violet's at it again. Or like, oh my gosh, we're doing this with Dane right now. What are we doing? Very, very vocal. And I kept having to fill in Katie like where I was at in the book. And she's like, I'm just not gonna. She gave no reaction, which was lovely because I hate spoilers so much. So I just am excited to talk about it with her after. Anyway, I am gonna go, even though I said that like 5 minutes ago. So I will see you tomorrow. Hello, good morning. And I just have to preface this by saying, please ignore my hair if it's looking a little crazy in any clips today because I have been fighting it. It's a losing battle, okay? And I'm the one losing. I did finish Iron Flame the other day. The pacing of this book was a little questionable, and I think that was probably my biggest problem with this book. There was like 2 really big reveals. The end reveal I was quite content with. It made things much more clear in terms of where the rest of the series might go, because this book ended in a way that made me question how this book could be, or how this series per se could be spread over 5 books. And I still think that's something that's really bold because so much happened in this book. And honestly, this still feels like trilogy material. And then the second reveal that happened a little bit earlier on, I wasn't too thrilled about. I think it just makes the playing field extremely uneven and it feels unrealistic, which like everything about this book, there's no like realism, obviously it's fantasy. But with this particular reveal, keeping things vague as possible, it made a player super OP. Let's say it in video game terms, okay? Little too OP. That's kind of my core thoughts with this book. Honestly, the pacing was dragging quite a bit. I was talking to Katie and we both kind of think this book could have been cut down 100 or so pages. A lot of the scenes felt very recycled from the first one or kept happening in this book. Big battle at the end though was really cool in terms of like the visual, and a dragon battle is so fucking cool to think about regardless. The first quarter was really good. So I think quarters like 2 and 3 were a little questionable, and then the last quarter had me really invested. But there were still some parts going on in like the second and third quarter that I was really invested in. And I don't know why I'm speaking as if I'm like a football player, you know? I don't know. I think that's enough of this. I'm just gonna set that aside. Now my plans for today is to actually read Check and Make by Ali Hazelwood. I'm in need of a fun, cute little romance. I'm going to go to the coffee shop and just spend some time reading this. I'm thinking I want to annotate it as well, so I'll pack some tabs and some pens and hopefully just have a really fun time reading this book. I debated picking up A Curse for True Love, but I just wasn't ready to have my soul crushed quite yet. And I thought I would go more like back and forth between like Iron Flame, which is like a little soul crushing with how many people die in this book, and then like a fun, cute, happy romance, and then Curse for True Love, where my soul might be ripped out, and then end on Bookshops and Bone Dust, which should be a fun, cozy little fantasy. So that's kind of my order idea for this vlog, but I think it's time to dive into Check and Mate. So let's head to the full cup and get some reading done. have a little bit of reading update for Check and Mate, and that is that I am having so much fun. My annotations already are kind of popping off. Yellow is for funny, purple is for sweet slash other, and then pink is for love. And I haven't gotten many like pink tabs put into it yet because we haven't really got to the romance part of things. I'm on chapter 10, page 112. This is just, it's so fun. I honestly really enjoy Ali Hazelwood's sense of humor with her writing. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but honestly, it is definitely mine. The relationship with her siblings and her mom are just so cute to see. Her backstory is very interesting, and there's a sort of mystery element to something that had gone down with Chess and her dad. I don't know exactly what it is. We've met Nolan Sawyer, who has kind of a bad rep with the chess world, but he is our love interest, so you already know he's some misunderstood young boy, you know? Also, the love interest ages, I think, are a lot younger than typical. I think they're 20 and 18 in this book, and I feel like a lot of Ali Hazelwood's other books are more like career-based, like after college or in college, so it's interesting to see the younger romance as well. I'm about a third of the way done with the book, and it's really interesting that we haven't really gotten to see like the romance develop, but I'm having so much fun with the chess world right now because I read The Queen's Gambit, and my main issue with that book was that the author had focused so hard on explaining the chess matches almost like play for play. Not exactly, but just using a lot of terminology that made it very hard to enjoy the book if you didn't know chess. My core knowledge of chess is from the Queen Gambit's book and Netflix show, so I still don't have that big of a grasp on chess, but I understand what like openings are and certain things like that. Not that I can play chess, I actually really suck at chess, but I love it so much. And I really like how Ali Hazelwood is handling explaining chess and explaining it to the readers that might not know about the chess world. Anyway, I think it's being done very well. Yeah, I'm loving it so much so far. I like Mallory's character, that's the main girl's name, and I'm just excited to see more. She's already had to put up with some lovely sexism, so honestly, I can't wait for her to truly like prove herself. She just had her first tournament, but she took like a break from chess, and chess is technically like a sport, so taking a break from any sport is not really good, especially one like chess where it's like a lot of studying, a lot of like mental, you know, using your brain a bunch. So she's kind of making her comeback and getting back to the groove of chess. I love it. It's so fun. I love all the little like chess doodles at the beginning of the chapters here. I love the aesthetic. I'm just having a blast. But I went to the coffee shop and I was with my mom for a little bit, and then when she left, I read for about an hour, I want to say. I just don't want to be perceived out in public today. And the second that I like sat down, I was like, I want to be at home on my couch in pajamas. So I'm going home and I'm going to continue reading, but on my couch in pajamas. And then I'll update you later. Remember my initial comment about not commenting on my hair? Don't comment on my makeup either, because it's a little old now. It's a little later into the night, and I have in fact finished Check and Mate. Also, if the camera wobbles, I'm so sorry. I am sitting on my bed and I am comfy and I'm not gonna move. So anyways, let's talk about Check and Mate. First, something that I didn't even know until I was reading the acknowledgements, which, do y'all read the acknowledgements? I tend to do so. I feel like that's not something that a lot of people do, or maybe it is something that a lot of people do and I'm just ignorant about that fact, but this is a YA novel. This is Ali Hazelwood's debut into YA, and it was done so well. But I think if you go into this hoping for like a groundbreaking romance novel, you'll be a little disappointed because it actually focused on a lot more things than just romance, and that is personally why I loved it so much. We got to really dive into the character and who she is versus just someone who is a main character thirsting over a love interest. I feel like that in itself led to this being one of my favorite romance books that I've read as of recently. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good like main character thirsting over a guy, like a little smutty book, but for this we got to see a lot more of like family relationships between two of her younger sisters and her mom, and those moments got me so good. I cried at one point when her mom was talking to her near the end of the book. She was going on a whole monologue, let me tell you, and I was sitting there holding back tears. one might have trickled out, okay? I loved that dynamic so much. I loved her facing the adversity in the chess world as a female player, and I loved all the side characters as well. Every single side character that was prominent in Mallory's story, I adored. For example, Oz, we really don't get to see him much. He is a grandmaster that Mallory occasionally trains with, but man, did his character absolutely stick with me. Oh my gosh. And we got to see a bond of friendship as well, and rekindling lost friendship. There was so much depth to this book that I wasn't expecting going into it. And yes, it still had Ellie Hazelwood's cheesy one-liners that just hit you out of nowhere, where you're reading a really heartfelt, really fun little book, and then she comes at you with the word banana pants like you wouldn't notice. I was on a call with Katie when I came across the word banana pants. Banana pants is used and the word dicklet is used, and I'm not talking about the Pokemon. I think the best part about this book was just how fun it was. The yellow tabs that seem to take up the majority of the spine are moments that I found funny, but the tabs look a little better on this side because this side is just like full of yellow moments before we got more into like the romance plot of it. It was so fun to just have fun reading a book, which is the whole reason why I read, is just to have fun, not to think too deeply about things and just have a silly, goofy, fun time. I love not getting analytical about plot holes or anything like that when I read. And actually in the acknowledgements, Ellie Hazel was like, definitely sacrifice some of the realism for the sake of the plot, which I appreciate because, like I had mentioned in my earlier update, I'm not some chess guru. I am not a chess grandmaster. I barely know how to play chess myself. I know how the pieces move. So this was really easy to digest as someone who casually likes the thought of chess but actually sucks and knows nothing about it. I love being in a smart female character's head. It's just such a delight, and I think that's why I like Ellie Hazelwood books so much. I haven't had time to like sit down and reflect and compare these to the other Ellie Hazelwood books I've read, but gut instinct tells me this might be one of my favorites. And it's interesting because it was YA. This man right here, Nolan is such a fucking simp, and I love him. I loved him before we even got to really see more interactions with his character. There was a lot of moments that were like off screen, just showing how much he cared about Mallory. It took a while because I don't feel like this book was necessarily Rivals to Lovers. I get why it's marketed that way because obviously who doesn't love a good trope, and Rivals to Lovers sounds like enemies to lovers. I feel like my man was whipped right from the start, but regardless of, you know, the marketing aspects of saying Rivals to Lovers, it was still a really good romance story, but I feel like the romance wasn't exactly the most, yes, it was prominent because obviously this is a contemporary romance, but for me, I enjoyed just seeing Mallory's character development, and the plot and her story and her comeback into chess really took the forefront of the story, and the romance was there, but it didn't feel like the leading plot of the book. 5 out of 5 for Check and Mate, which I love a good 5-star contemporary romance, and I can't wait to eventually go back and reread Check and Mate. So definitely recommend if you're an Ellie Hazelwood fan, and it's smut-free. There's some like really light smut, but nothing super detailed. I love getting to like giggle and like kick my feet when characters kiss and like hold hands or like brush knuckles or something compared to like doing the devil's tango. You feel me? Make sure that you adjust your expectations because the word banana pants is used in this book and it still gets me. I'm like, girly, what are you doing? Yeah, so those are my thoughts on Check and Mate. I'm done with reading for today, but I will say the change of environment from a coffee shop to my bed was so needed and so lovely. Like I said, I was on a call with Katie. I was giggling so much. Hello, my friends. First off, I just rough cut all of the footage of this vlog, and I'm so sorry it's so long, but I hope that you are enjoying thus far. And to kind of break up the monotony of me talking about books, I do have a little bit of an unboxing. My Waterstones package did come in, and then I also have some of my new matte prints that will be debuting the end of November, so I want to show those off as well. But first, let's get into this Waterstone package. I think there's a pull tab. This feels very pull tabby. Nice. Ooh, damn. So it is a little damaged. Oh my God, can you come out? Okay, it looks like the dust jacket is a little damaged, unfortunately. Not even on the bottom. The bottom survived so well. But anyways, this is heavy as fuck. This is Iron Flame, their exclusive Waterstones edition with the sprayed edges. Hello? Sorry, let me show you first. I love these edges so much. And I was able to snag Fourth Wing as well. So that should be coming in eventually. I have no idea when, but I can't wait for the spines to line up. Like I said before, I'm so excited for my Fourth Wing shelf. It's absolutely gonna pop off. I'm so excited. I love dragons. This is so cool. And I love the quote on the back. It says, "The first year is when some of us lose our lives. The second year is when the rest of us lose our humanity." And that's a quote from the book, which is pretty accurate of what goes down. So that's my little book haul. We've got these two massive packages, and it's so bloody exciting because these are my mini map prints for my new ACOTAR maps and then my Poppy War map. I have an old version of my ACOTAR map. However, once those are sold out, they are being retired because I don't like them anymore. So I have my new style of ACOTAR map, which has been really well received. A lot of people actually have been telling me they prefer the new map over the old one. So always love to hear that. Yes. Wow. I love this. Okay. This is my mini Poppy War map. This converted so well to a 5x7. I was so worried because I drew it as an 11x14, and then to condense it down, I was really worried about how it would look smaller, but it looks so bloody cool. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. And then I have like an army of them. I love it. Oh my goodness. And I am waiting to sell these whenever I get my 11x14 prints in. So these won't be available to the end of November, like I said. But if you want some before Christmas, definitely order like the second I release, which should be around Thanksgiving, I want to say. So do keep an eye out if you do want to snag up a Poppy War map. I'm really excited to release those. Y'all seemed pretty excited about it. So this next one, like I said, is the new ACOTAR map. I ordered a shit ton of these as well, so they're in a different type of box. I am a hazard when I open things with scissors. Don't cut towards yourself, kids. Don't do it. Here's the 500 that I ordered. That's crazy. These look so good compared to my old maps. Oh my gosh. So here's what it looks like. So basically the same as my big map, but smaller. I was like giving people the option of different sizes because I feel like with the small maps, they go really well to like sit on your bookcases near the series. And they also look good on the wall, don't get me wrong. But the big maps, I've done updates in front of my big maps and I'm obsessed. It's so fun. I can't wait to have like a whole wall just full of maps. Love. So that is my little intermission update on things that are kind of book related, but not the books that I'm reading related. So I hope you enjoyed that little unboxing moment. I do love a good unboxing. And then as for the book that I'm going to be picking up, I have A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber here. However, I do have a map to work on. I'm working on a commission, and luckily Katie has the audiobook borrowed on Libby and we share a Libby account. So I'm just gonna kind of listen to that while I work on my map. It's gonna be a fun, quick read. Hopefully the narrator is good, because if the narrator's not good, I probably just like won't listen to the audiobook and I'll like listen to music or something. But I do want to at least start this book. That way the vlog can start wrapping up. Like I had mentioned so many times in this video, I'm excited but not like too invested in the series. So I don't really have any expectations for this book. I'm just gonna read it, which is so lovely because sometimes going into books with just no expectations, they can surprise you. So that's what I'm hoping for. Also, apparently they have like alternate epilogues, like different epilogues in different versions. So I might have to find a way to read the different epilogues if I care enough by the end. But let's get to reading and drawing. Find herself elsewhere. Hoping and imagining and believing in magic had always been like breathing to Evangeline. And yet, she didn't even recall how he'd caught the fever that had killed him. Rose still didn't feel small, as he held her close enough for her to feel that he was shaking too. He recited the word to warrior angels via stone. She felt as if she were witnessing the sort of thing that usually took place in a church. Right now, I would prefer him dead. Alright, so I finally made some progress into A Curse for True Love, and I didn't realize how much progress until I actually paused the audiobook. I am already over halfway through the audiobook. I have 4 hours left, which is technically 2 hours because I'm listening to it on double time. So apparently I sat for like 2.5 hours listening to this audiobook and working on my map. In terms of like timing my map, like I talked to earlier, I don't, but I didn't really think that I had been working on my map for over 2 hours until I saw tangible evidence that I had been working on it for over 2 hours. Like, I feel like I did not do that much for 2.5 hours work, but whatever. Anyways, but let's actually talk about Curse for True Love. I am on page 198, and like I said, halfway through, so that's kind of where I'm at for like a visual representation. I am enjoying this book, but I didn't think that I was already halfway through. So I think that's my main issue. Obviously this is the third book, so I'm not gonna really talk too in detail because I can't really discuss events that are going on in this book because it gives major spoilers for the second book and how that ends. However, I do completely agree with the people talking about the one POV that they just don't care for and the one POV they wish that they're getting more of. I agree with that 110%. However, the one POV that no one really likes, I do occasionally enjoy his POVs. They provide a lot of insight to make me dislike their characters, so that's fun. I think the pacing is very good. Like I said in previous vlogs where I read Stephanie Garber's books, they're really, really quick reads. And not just because the font is big, but the pacing of the plot is very, very go, go, go. And I do enjoy that factor. I didn't really have to think too long and hard about what's going on. It's a very put on the background type of audiobook for me right now, but I've really enjoyed it, and I meant to pause it like an hour ago, but I was pretty enraptured with the story. Yes, I'm enjoying it, but I don't feel like we should be at the halfway point already. I feel like more should have really happened with the plot, even though a lot has happened, if that makes sense. This book isn't really that long either, so I'm curious to see how things are gonna end. Yeah, not much else to say. Like I said, can't really talk about the book in detail without spoiling major events that are going down. However, we're in a forest right now, so that's fun. And the magic system in this book is so fun and so whimsical, and I forget how fun Stephanie Garber's writing is until I return to her books, and she just has really fun, quirky, and unique magic, and it's all very lax, I feel like. It's not a hard magic system, everything's just every which way, I feel like. For example, there's a curse in the north that makes storytelling impossible, and we kind of got to understand why that is, and it's just so silly in my opinion, but it's fun, and I'm having fun reading it, and that's really all that matters. I am gonna take a quick break though, and then I will probably return to it in a little bit, and I'll give you my thoughts then. I have 15 minutes left. I'm shooketh right now. Update you in a minute. All rights reserved. Well, that was so freaking fun. Are you kidding me? I have not had that much fun like listening to an audiobook in ages. I love Stephanie Garber's writing, and just not being super invested in the story meant that I didn't really care what happened at the end. Yes, I was certainly going through it. I was just a little scared. But oh, that was so fun. Are you kidding me? I'm quite content with how things turned out. I think it could have definitely gone in a completely different direction and I still would have been really satisfied, but where the ending is though, I'm content. I do want to find the alternate epilogue though. Apparently there's 3 alternate endings, the Waterstones, I'll create, and then. So give me just a second, I'm going to read these and then I'll come back with my thoughts. Because the epilogue that I got, I guess it's bonus content past the epilogue is what I'm understanding. Let me just read and find out. and then I'll let you know. Okay. I have figured out the mystery of the 3 different endings. Essentially, we all get the same epilogue, but then there's like a bonus epilogue, so like double epilogues. I think my favorite was kind of the Owl Crate one, even though it did follow Aurora, and I wasn't really a big fan of her. Very intriguing with that ending. My least favorite was definitely the Barnes & Noble edition. I thought it was cute, but Waterstones, I think, was also like a solid one that actually did follow our main characters versus the Owl Crate. Okay, but let's talk a little bit more. Where's my book? What did I do with it? Hold on. Found it. Curse for True Love. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 stars because I had a ton of fun. Now that I've sat and thought about it for longer than like the initial 30-second reaction I had before turning on the camera, I think there's a lot of open endings in this book, and it really didn't follow the characters that I would have preferred it to follow if I had been invested in this book. I think that's one of the main reasons why I wasn't super bothered by this book and why a lot of people are bothered. I enjoyed the first 2 books, but they're nothing like Caraval in my opinion. However, a lot of people love this series a lot more, and so they were a hell of a lot more invested in the series. So if I had read this as a trilogy, like back to back to back, and not waited like a whole year and had only been vaguely recapped on the first 2 books, I think I would have been a lot more bothered by all the storylines and things that were brought up in the first 2 books. But because I barely remembered what went down in those, really wasn't that big of a deal to me that I got no answers, because I don't even remember the questions that I would have had. You feel me? The only thing that did bother me was the focus on the one POV that everyone fucking hates. And that I think mostly bothered me because I didn't really like the voice actor of who was like narrating the books. It bothered me every time he did Jack's voice. I was like, how's the female voice actor doing a better job at Jack's voice than the male voice actor? Anyways, wasn't a big fan of his storyline, and I feel like we should have just not gotten his POV except for once or twice. But it kind of made sense in the book. However, I really cared a lot more about Jax and Evangeline than our other character. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, so if you've read the book, you know who I'm talking about. Sorry, my camera battery decided to just like peace out in the middle of my update. Very rude of it. It was flashing at me though, so it is on me. Anyways, we didn't really get that much Evangeline and Jack action until near the end of the book, but even then, I still feel like we should have gotten more throughout it, since that's what the readers really cared about. And if you're not going to answer all the other questions you had set up, why not just like enjoy the time with the characters while we're here? Regardless, I had fun, and because I wasn't invested, I give it a 4 stars. However, I feel like if you really love this series and you were really invested, this would kind of be a letdown. But that's just me. I had fun, 4 stars, and we're done reading for tonight. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself right now. I am still working on my map. It's right here. I think it looks really cute. It's the cutest little commission that I'm working on. It really is. I think I'm just gonna talk to you tomorrow when I start Bookshops and Bone Dust. So that'll be fun, and I will see you tomorrow because this vlog is already so long. So let's just move things along a little quicker here. Hello, I am home now, and as you saw from some of those clips, I finally picked up Bookshops and Bone Dust, and it has just been such a delight already. I will say though, the second that I got home from the coffee shop, I changed straight into comfy clothes and jumped straight into bed to cozy up and continue the read, but I was like, maybe I should film an update first. I'm on page 82, which is basically chapter 11, but like halfway through chapter 10. The chapters are super duper short, and I absolutely love that about Travis Baldree's books. I also love the fact that each little chapter has a different header. So right here we have like a little stack of books, which I love, and then on the chapter that I'm reading right now, there's like a little ship right here. It's so cute. If you liked Legends and Lattes, you'll definitely like Bookshops and Bone Dust. It follows a very similar concept of the cozy fantasy where nothing really happens. We get to see Viv in the prologue basically when she was a mercenary, and then she got wounded and she ends up being dumped in this city called Merk. And it's pretty small, pretty empty, pretty dreary. We kind of get to see her renovating a bookshop with Fern, who is a rat tail and the owner of the bookshop. That's basically all that's really happened so far. We've been introduced to a few side characters. Viv is slowly healing from her wounds, and it's just a fun, cozy little time. And it's a really quick read as well, unsurprisingly. I probably will sit here and make another chunk of progress and maybe finish it, but let's keep our expectations low. So I am going to continue reading this, and I'll be back with another update for you. All right, it is much later and I finished Bookshops and Bone Dust. I might have fallen asleep halfway through reading this book, and that's because the plot was plotting like a little too hard for my cozy vibey fantasy, and I was a little bored, and I was also tired, so like obviously I fell asleep. I think I'm gonna give this a 3-star, like a high 3-star. It was fun, but for me it wasn't quite as comparable to Legends and Lattes, and I think the main issue was I really didn't connect with any of the side characters. They weren't as memorable as the cast of characters in Legends and Lattes, and the characters in Legends and Lattes is what really made that book for me. I absolutely loved the environment of this book, do not get me wrong. I really did enjoy the town of Merk. There was a lot of cute different shops, the bakery, the bookstore that we got to spend a lot of our time in, but anytime Viv left those two places, I was like, can we go back to like renovating the bookshop please? Because that's really what I'm here for. That was like my main complaint, just because I didn't really care about the plot. I wanted to care about the characters, and it just wasn't there for me. But it was a lot of fun seeing them kind of invent modern day book things like a book club and having an author come down and sign books and have like a little meet and greet. It was so fun in a fantasy setting with like a bunch of different breeds like orcs and dwarves and gnomes and such. It was fun. If you liked Legends and Lattes, definitely pick this one up. I will say, like I said, it dragged a little bit in the middle just because when the plot was plotting, it was a little bit annoying because I really didn't care, but the vibes were totally there, and if Travis Baldree writes any other stories, I definitely will be interested in picking them up. It's funny though, because he had actually said this wasn't the novel he had planned on releasing. He never planned on writing a prequel for Legends and Lattes, but I am glad he did. It was also really nice because the epilogue snapped back into present day of Legends and Lattes, and we got to see brief moments with past characters, and that's really when the click came of that's why I didn't enjoy this book as much, was just the characters I didn't really connect to as much as I did in Legends and Lattes. But regardless, I had fun and it was really cozy, and I'm a sucker for a bookshop setting. What can I say? Also, when I walked into the Full Cup today, one of the employees, Julian, was there, and he had mentioned that he had just read Legends and Lattes recently and asked if he should pick this up, and I was like, I'll let you know. I just love little interactions like that when I can talk to bookish people. I think it's so fun. But this is the end of the vlog. I finally got around to finishing my very ambitious TBR, and I'm gonna do just like a little recap because this is so long and I am so sorry, but I do hope that y'all enjoy. So like I said, Bookshops and Bone Dust, 3 stars. Just talked about that. Don't think that really needs a recap. We have Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which was the only 5-star read of this vlog. Absolutely adored this romance. It was Ali Hazelwood's first YA, and I think she absolutely nailed it. Loved it, and I annotated it. Show off the tabs one more time. because why not? We have A Curse for True Love, which got a solid 4 stars. Very whimsical, such a fun read. No major complaints from me because I was not invested enough to care about what happened in this book. Stephanie Garber's writing is truly a load of fun to dive into. If you liked the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, I definitely do recommend Caraval. I personally like Caraval more than the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, but I know it's reversed for Katie, so honestly to each their own. And then I also read Iron Flame, which I don't think I ever really discussed the star rating I gave for this. I did end up giving it a 4 star. Originally I gave it a 4.5, but then I kind of sat on it and it definitely dropped down to a 4 star. Overall, I think I was disappointed, but that's kind of my own fault for having higher expectations. I still stand on the fact that it should have been cut down and it wasn't. But that is it for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about all of my end of year anticipated releases. This was such a fun vlog. I'm pretty content because I had fun reading and I found a new 5 stars. So, you know, what else could a girl ask for? Thank y'all so much for sticking around all the way to the end of this vlog. You're absolutely a legend. Comment a chess emoji down below if you made it this far. I used to do this all the time and I haven't, but this video is so long. So I want to see who kind of made it to the end of this video. Thanks again, y'all, and I really do hope to see you in the next one. Toodles!